Is that red pin, and then the parotid duct, the pink pin, and then we have the submaxillary gland.
Why is it touching?
The
yellow pin.
The yellow pin.
Yes.
So yes,
And
a
then
yellow
we
pin.
have the posterior facial vein, and then the anterior facial vein, and then we have the transverse jugular vein and the external jugular vein. So then we have the submaxillary duct.
This black pin underneath the submaxillary gland.
Okay.
Yes. And then we have the sublingual gland. And then the molar gland is up here, and we don't have the infraorbital gland because it's all the way up in there.
Okay.
And then we're going to move on to the oral cavity. So we're going to start with the buccal cavity, which is just the mouth. And then you have the labia, which are the lips.
Right
And
there.
then the hard palate.
You ain't getting that shit, Steve. It's all
This
right.
hard one.
And then you have the palatal rugae, which is on top there.
You can't really see it. Our cat's mouth isn't open.
Yeah. Okay, so and then there's the pharynx.
This is this whole thing.
And then the soft,
It's just this
the
whole
space
part.
extending caudal
Okay.
to the hard palate. So then you have the soft palate. Right in there.
The pharynxes differentiate.
Okay, and then the part of the buccal cavity between the lips and the teeth, that's called the vestibule.
It's with this. Oh, it's just an area. Sorry,
It's not pinned.
it's not pinned.
And
It's just
then-
between the teeth and the lips.
Okay. When you pull the lips away from the teeth, you're going to find the vertical medial flap, which is the labial frenulum.
It's with that blue pin.
And it attaches the lips to the gingiva, which is just the gums.
The gingiva I have with this other blue pen.
So
That's the
then-
what?
Gingiva, it's gums.
is-
Like
Yeah.
gingivitis
Yeah.
Okay.
when you
And
don't
then-
floss.
Inflammation of gums.
The median lingual frenulum, it attaches the anterior part of the tongue to the floor of the buccal cavity. And then you also have
That can be seen if you lift it with that blue pen.
What's that right there?
the lingual frenulum.
Bed.
Frenulum. So you have the sublingual papillae.
Which is a. There's just a little papilla right there.
That black pin.
Yes.
Yes.
Alright. So moving on, we're gonna move on to the tongue. We have the filiform papillae, and then they're divided
The really
into
rough ones are up
other-
here.
They're just subdivided into the fungiform papillae, which are those right there. And then you have the foliate papillae,
Which are way back here by this red pen.
and then you have the valate
Which-
papillae.
Which are more lateral.
So then you have the nasopalatine ducts.
This pink pen.
At the anterior end of the hard palate.
Mhm.
Yes.
What's
Okay.
that?
That's the nasopalatine duct. And then you have the oropharynx, which lies ventral to the soft palate. And then you have the nasopharynx, which is above the soft palate. And they, whenever they come together, they make the laryngopharynx.
This red pen. Just the laryngopharynx.
And then anterior to the free border of the soft palate, you're going to have the palatine tonsils. And they're inside the tonsillar fossa.
Right, this black pen.
That's
Okay.
the tonsillar fossa, and
That's
inside
it.
of it is the palatine
You
tonsils.
you can see the fossa.
Okay, and then you're going to go to the paired folds in the lateral wall of the pharynx. And then you have the palatoglossal arch, which is in the front, and then the palatopharyngeal arch, which is behind it. I just said that really weird. So then these folds are there importantly in barks, and then
With the green and yellow
because
pins.
they mark the end of the oral cavity, and the passageway that goes right through them is the fauces. Got it? Okay, so we're going to move on to internal nares, which go into the nasal cavity.
That's what the red pen is.
Those are the internal nares. And then we found the auditory tubes, which is little slit-like openings.
It's this black pin. It will be above the soft palate.
And then just past the rear of the tongue is the larynx. And then you have the
Just this area. the larynx.
epiglottis, which we don't have it pinned, but it's just really just hanging out right there.
Yep.
And
Pretty
then
distinctive.
you have the trachea and the esophagus.
Right there. Oh, Jesus.
Why can't get is everybody just blocking me? Y'all so selfish.
And
Kathy.
then, okay, we have the thyroid cartilage. And then, which reaches around the larynx to touch a pair of small dorsal arytenoid cartilages.
We couldn't really see that though.
Yeah, you can't really see those though. And then
A whole bunch of
at the
shit.
base of the larynx, you can't see the cricoid cartilage either, or the vocal cords. Couldn't find those, the full vocal cords. And the thyroid gland is gone, so if you don't have a thyroid gland, you're...
Where's that at?
Right here.
That's what happened.
It's also torn right here.
And the central tendon is gone, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because we tore it. And then you have the pericardial cavity, which is just where the heart is located. And then you have the left and the right pleural cavities, which makes up the lungs. And then that partition is the mediastinal septum between the heart and the ventral medial wall. So then you have parietal pleura, which is just the covering on the outside, and the
It's
visceral
with
pleura.
this white pin. Is the parietal
And
pleura.
then the visceral pleura is just on top of the organs, covering the organs.
This red pin.
So
That's
then
the
you-
visceral.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if you look at the lungs, if you look at the left lung, there's an anterior, middle, and posterior lobes.
All with green pins.
A nice piece of lung.
Mm-hmm.
And then the right lung is made up of anterior, middle, and posterior lobes and an accessory lobe.
This accessory lobe can be seen with this blue pin.
Okay. And then we went over the mediastinum already, right? Okay. Check. So then you have the parietal pericardium, which goes over is the thymus, which is right there.
Black
Black
pin?
Yeah, that's the thymus.
Thymus.
And then you have the root of the lung, or the radix, which is like underneath, right there.
It's with this white pin.
Mm-hmm.
It's the root.
Root.
Yes. And then you have the trachea, the esophagus, which are more visible now. You have them flipped over.
Right there. Right there.
What's that?
Yep.
This is the trachea with the ridges.
Mm-hmm.
And the esophagus.
Say it.
Esophagus. Okay.
Okay. And now we have the peritoneal cavity. So we have parietal peritoneum, which is on the outside, like it was on the other one, and visceral
This yellow
peritoneum, which is covering the organs. And then you have the spleen. Right there.
This pink pin.
Mm-hmm.
There it is.
And then the liver. Okay. And then on
What's the liver at?
Right.
Oh, it's
The
giant.
giant, that giant organ right there, that's the liver.
That whole thing right there?
Yes.
It's subdivided.
Yeah, we're going to divide it
I want
more.
to zoom out a
Don't worry
little
about
bit and
it.
then get in close and then clarify.
Alright, that liver right there,
Okay.
big ass thing.
Hey, I'm going to need you to be quiet now. So then we
I ain't
have
say nothing back.
the falciform ligament, which connects between them, and it's made up of the round ligament and the coronary ligament. So those are pinned in different colors, right?
The black is the round ligament. The green one is the coronary ligament, and the red one is the falciform. It's the whole thing.
I'll meet at the falciform.
Okay.
Okay, so moving on to the liver. There's two of them. There's the left lateral lobe and then the left medial lobe on the left side. And then on the right, there's the right medial lobe and the right lateral lobe. And then the right lateral lobe splits into two attached parts, which is the anterior part and the posterior part.
Yep.
And you can kind of see the kidney when she lifted that up.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, the kidney.
And
That
then
right there?
Yep,
Okay,
it's blue.
bad.
the little sac-like thing is the gallbladder.
Where's that at? Okay, I
yellow
see the
pin.
yellow.
And then, okay, between the medial lobe is the smaller quadrate lobe right there. And then
White
we
pin.
have
Yep.
the caudate lobe of the liver.
which is also, I think, a white pin down
Yeah,
here.
sticking out like a little.
Yes.
Yeah.
Caudate.
Caudate, yeah. So then we move on to the stomach. We have the lesser curvature and the greater curvature of the stomach. So she'll pull that up there.
This is the greater curvature, and this is the lesser curvature.
Where the white pin is?
White pin, red pin.
Got you.
Greater, lesser.
Greater,
And then the large domed cranial end is called the fundus.
And that's down here with that white pin.
the fungus.
Yes. The large part continuing behind that is called the body or the corpus, and it narrows into the pyloric region and it ends at the pyloric sphincter, which is right there.
Pyloric sphincter, blue pin.
Got you.
Okay.
Hello, sphincter.
And then inside the stomach we have rugae, like we did in the shark.
We did. I don't think we cut it open.
Oh yeah, we did cut it open, but
So,
we took stuff out of it.
What's the rugae?
It's inside the stomach.
Okay, bet.
The folds inside.
Oh, you kidding? Oh,
whoa.
So I'll put that back.
right there. Put that back in.
Okay.
Okay, so we have the small intestine. Okay. You have
Where's
kind of
that?
the first segment of the intestine
What's
is
the
called the
small?
duodenum, which is the first part of the small intestine.
This green pin. The duodenum.
And then in the
part.
first bend of the small intestine, along the side of the duodenum, lies the head of the pancreas.
Which is this yellow pin. It's
And
on
then
the inside.
it extends through there. And then the next part of the small intestine is the jejunum and then the ileum, but you can't really distinguish between them. You just know that
So what
it's
pin's the jejunum?
jejunum, and then ileum.
Let me get that.
The
Just
ileum
holding on
is
to them
just
angles.
small intestine.
What the? What is that?
Okay.
Ileum is
Okay.
small intestine.
So
I
the
have it with
ileum
this green
ends
pin.
Okay, got you.
at the juncture and it becomes the colon or the large intestine, where you have a finger-like projection which is called the cecum.
Mm-hmm.
What, that's the cecum?
Yep.
Yes. And then you're going to have the ascending colon, the transverse colon, and the descending colon.
This is the ascending.
Mm-hmm.
This is the
Descending.
transverse.
Transverse is behind it.
And this is descending. This is transverse because when it sits, it's sideways.
Okay.
And then you're going to find the rectum, and then
The rectum is down here. It's
The
just
black pin?
lower, yeah.
yes. And then you have the
What, yellow
urinary
sugar?
bladder, which Stephen is.
So the pink one is the ascending.
This descending.
Yeah, where's
The
the ascending?
and
Transverse
ascending,
is red.
transverse, descending.
And Stephen's got the urinary? Yeah, he's holding on to
Bladder.
the urinary bladder over there.
So ascending,
That's it?
transverse,
No.
descending.
Oh, you're funny.
We're going into
The ligaments.
the message, which is divided into two parts, the hepatoduodenal ligament and the gastrohepatic ligament.
Where are we at?
This is the the gastrohepatic. This blue pin. This red pin is the hepatoduodenal.
And then together they
Together.
make the lesser omentum.
Is that the gastrohepatod?
Which is also, it's like a sac, so it's called the omental bursa, but it's just great, the
What is
greater
that? Oh my
omentum,
goodness.
because it holds all of them together.
That's greater omentum?
Yes.
Mhm.
And then in that you have the gastrosplenic ligament.
Oh, connected to.
The gastrosplenic from the
Gastrosplenic
stomach to the spleen.
And then you have the
Gastrosplenic.
hepatorenal ligament.
Which is way down here
You.
with this black pin.
What's that right there?
Hepatorenal. Hepatorenal.
And
Liver's
then,
connected to one of the livers. I think it's.
did we find the
posterior lobe.
gastrocolic ligament?
Liver and kidneys?
Hepato. Renal, kidney, hepatorenal.
Liver and
The
kidneys.
cystic duct, the hepatic ducts, and they become the common bile duct, and that's all the ones you can find. And she has them pinned.
The cystic duct is
The liver comes out of the liver. No, wait. The gallbladder is the cystic duct.
it's this red one. The gallbladder
And then it
is
joins
right here.
the hepatic ducts, which are the ones that are coming out
And the hepatic
of
duct
the liver.
is coming out. This is the common bile duct.
Yeah.
Mm.
The yellow one?
Yeah.
Yes.
The cystic duct, I think I pinned is this white one coming out of the liver. This one's coming out of the gallbladder. and together they'll meet right here.
Yeah, but the cystic duct is the one that's coming out of the gallbladder.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
It's okay. The
So
cystic duct comes out of the gallbladder, and the
red is
hepatic duct
cystic.
comes out of the liver.
Red is cystic.
Red is cystic.
Hepatoduct is white, and then together
The
the
common
yellow
bile duct.
common bile duct.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's all.
That's it.
Good job.